This is my engine stand. I've done a number of videos when I was working on the engine, and I even did a nifty video on how to make it so that you can take a $75 engine stand and make it a lot more valuable by adding a worm here on there. So this engine stand, now that I have the engine and the MG, doesn't get a lot of use. It's just sitting in the corner. And so I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do with this thing? And then it occurred to me that you have to find a way to put such a nice device back into service. So what I'm going to do is I am going to turn this into a mobile metalworking station. So we're going to install a vise on here. We're going to mount my welder onto this little shelf here and make it into a nice little place where I can move around and do some metalworking from one place to the next. Because, you know, normally I just have my vise on the workbench, and I don't always want to do metalworking in the workbench. And my other workbench, I've converted that to a 3D printing bench. So this is going to be a great opportunity for me to put this product back into service and get it out from the corner of the garage. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so first things first, we're going to throw this vise on here. Now this vise is my old, what does it say? Workforce 5-inch sliding vise. One of the things that's unique about this, normally you would think, okay, well, your vise is oriented in this plane and your engine stand is oriented in that plane. But in this case, this vise has the ability to swing. So because that's a rotating vise, we can go ahead and mount it in that plane, and then the vise will be oriented correctly. It'll be a little off center, but it'll work just right. So one of the things that we're looking at on here is where the bolts are going to go. Thankfully, these holes are the same size holes as the engine stand, but one of the problems I'm running into here is that these holes are 5.5 inches in a square, 5.5 inches. And although I can put 5.5 inches here, I can't put 5.5 inches here. The best I can do here is 4.5 inches. So that's going to be a challenge. One of the things that we're looking at also on this is that we want to try to get this as close to, you know, the vertical as we can. We're going to be banging on a vise. We want to put some torque on it. It's probably not going to be much. It's going to be way lighter than an engine, so you know that's not a problem. But I don't know that I want to have it extended with, you know, these arms sticking out. And the other thing is that these arms, they don't go, like I can't get 5.5 inches from here. All I need is another inch, and it'd be difficult to get another inch. I mean, I can get 2 inches, but I can't get 1 inch. But so we're going to figure out how we're going to orient these, or figure some other method to get 5.5 inch square to mount onto this plate. So that's my next challenge. Let's see how we can get that working. All right, so this looks like how it's gonna lay out. I got 2 bolts in the large sliders on the bottom, and these bolts on the top are going to use these spacers here, and I'm gonna drill a hole right here to be able to connect it this way. I may end up having to put some sort of filler in there. I don't know. We'll figure that out. We'll see how much torque that needs, but I don't think that will be a problem. But that's what it's looking like. That here you can see the vise is oriented 90 degrees off center using this little pivot point. And that's what it will look like, a little vise that I can wheel around in the workshop if I need to clamp on something or beat on something. I do lose the anvil, although not the corner of the anvil. I mean, I don't have the flat surface of the anvil, but I have this that I can beat on as long as I don't hit it too hard. I mean, it's really not made for hitting, but maybe we'll figure out another anvil solution. But I'm going to go ahead and start drilling some holes on these in the drill press, and then we'll bolt these down. My welder is a titanium 125. It's a great little welder. It's a portable little deal. It works on just a standard 15 amp plug. It's not a big deal. Works really well for sheet metal work, for, you know, skinning cars, and I did it. I used it today to weld this little dealie on. Gives me a 1/2-inch drive socket that I can open and close my vise with. You can use that just with a ratchet, or you can even run it with a pneumatic driver. So that's kind of neat. Anyway, I mounted that titanium welder. Used a couple of the unused engine mount tabs. These are the little legs that hold your engine in when you're using it as an engine mount, and I screwed them together end to end, made a little hook to manage the wires. So the welder is all situated, no problems. That's going to work really great. Here's the plate on the welder if you want to see what some of the specs are. It's a great little welder. It's very worth the money if you're in the market for a little welder. I think that's it. That's a pretty good little project. You can take your if you have a swivel vise, you can put it on a engine stand and make it into a little mobile metalworking project. So now I can scoot this thing around and do whatever welding or clamping or beating or, you know, vicing that I need to do if I'm working on a car or if I'm working on some kind of a project. I don't have to go back and forth between the workbench because I got my vise right there with me. So anyway, that's one way to repurpose an engine stand that's probably collecting dust in your garage right now. Just make it into a mobile metalworking station. That's all I have for you right now. Take it easy. Have a good day. Subscribe if you haven't already.